Gentlemen, thank you for coming. Normally, I give a short speech about some general speculative stuff about the Empire before moving candidates to the floor. And considering the number of newcomers, I will be giving a truncated situation brief so as to ensure all candidates and spectators are up to speed. Firstly, internal affairs. The Senate has been sessioned constantly for the last 2 months and will be taking its first scheduled recess at the end of the month. Beyond internal procedural reforms, the most substantive change is now that individuals who wish to join the Senate must participate in observer status prior to joining the Senate proper. Additionally, the Empire has clans occupying 17 out of 18 provinces, with only Legata still requiring a clan. Secondly, foreign affairs. The situation outside of our borders is a kind of reverse fall of Rome scenario. All of the major powers have, for the most part, gone radio silent for the past 2 weeks, while all activity in the Imperial Republic Discord has a retention rate similar to pre-wipe levels or pre-wipe announcement levels of around 90%. Their tendency to place all power into a top spot has left them impotent in their absence, with one faction having their leader step down and no one at all being able to replace the spot. And we can safely say for now that they have ceased to exist as an entity. Other places, there are clans that didn't have enough people at peak population to even be considered for leadership, having taken over in the place of their biggest clans. The Battalion Confederate structure in particular, which is similar to our own, has done quite nicely in being able to handle the wipe and maintain retention prior to announcement levels. It is apparent then that the Empire has generally managed to succeed in transitioning to a lower tempo while maintaining a coherent sense of faction identity. The biggest thing to note, as an aside, is that the Imperial Army has generally taken the biggest hit out of any Imperial institution. It is imperative, then, that whoever is appointed here today takes steps to infuse leadership with new blood and ensure it is actively being developed to prepare us on the whole for castle capture, as well as to give us a strong core for when PvP comes. Finally, I would like to note that despite all of our differences, we're all still here to celebrate the most sacred traditions of our empire. Those who think they have what it takes to lead come to convince you to lend them your support. It is by all of us coming here and observing the laws we have collectively passed that makes us stand out from our rivals. It is by these pillars, unity, and the fact that no man is above the law, that we ensure going forward no one may overcome our empire. That said, our rivals stand united as it is. Therefore, I ask all of you gathered here, remember that the Empire is bigger than any one policy or idea. The day-to-day goings-on of the Senate generally ignore the most pressing reality, which is to say, as long as the Empire stands together on the field of battle, she'll thrive. As long as her rules are observed and obeyed, we can trust each other to do so. As long as we trust each other to do so, we are united. To disagree is not disunity. The only true disunity is to actively seek alternatives to unity. With that being said, Senator Blucher, I would like to move you to the floor and present yourself to those gathered here.
Hello. I'll stand right here. My name's Blucher. I lead the Holy Roman Empire, which is a clan, and within the Republic, or Imperial Republic, I'm seeking to run for Imperator. Well, I am running for Imperator. I believe I'm best qualified for the job, as I've hosted events with the Empire before. I love to do things with you guys, and it's a really fun place to be. And I'm hoping that even this time before the wipe, we can still have some really fun times, whether in native multiplayer or, in Bannerlord Online, doing some bandit hunts or stuff like that. I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Blucher. Please, do any of the senators gathered here have questions for the candidate? Please state your name and I'll move your question to the floor. Anyone? All right then. Do any of the
So this is Senator Cronus.
Hello.
A question for candidate Blucher.
All right, Senator Cronus. Senator Cronus, wait, you have the floor.
Thank you. What do you propose as a remedy for some of the declining, engagement and activity from people within the Empire?
Well, I think the player base that's within Bannerlord Online is going down. I mean, from the active players and that as a place to recruit. I'd like to start recruiting within native multiplayer. I know we've been able to do siege events before, and if we can actually use that as a way to recruit people, I think that we could once again have the numbers that would be required to, make this a viable project.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Senator Christ. Senator Blucher, I actually have a question for you.
Of course.
Do you have any plans regarding the Imperial Army?
Yeah, I do. So there was 2 things that I wanted to do. I want to make it so that there is a command structure in place for when we're fighting together on big offensives, together as the Empire, like we're meant to be, but also want to have a section of the Imperial Army that's kind of a permanent thing for people who aren't really interested in the clan aspect of the game. So I want to kind of do it both so that we can, have a centralized structure both in times of war and in times of peace.
All right, and as a follow-up, the current Tribune of the Army, Shalak, has mentioned the potentiality of utilizing funds allocated to their operations as part of potential incentives for early stockpiling through things like revelations, as well as attempting to get a headhunting kind of recruiting thing going on. What's your opinion on that?
I think anything that's going to increase the activity within the Imperial Army and give people objectives while we're kind of in a pre-wipe stage is a good thing, in my opinion.
All right, I have no further questions. Do any of the other senators have questions for the candidate?
Aye.
Your name?
Misfit.
All right, Mr. Misfit. You do not hold a senatorial status. Please wait till the floor is open to the general public.
Aye.
Well, I got a question.
Your
Chaos?
name? Senator Chaos or Proconsul Chaos, you have the floor.
Do you have any plans if there isn't a wipe?
There is no wipe. I think if we keep on a path that's, keep on going how we're going, I mean, the wipe is just something that could set us back. But I feel like if we play the game continuously, we'll be in the best shape nonetheless.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Senator Chaos. Do any of the other senators have questions for the candidate? Very well. Does any of the General Assembly have questions for the candidate? I remember, Mr. Misfit, you had a question, correct?
Yeah.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So, as leader, what would be your first legislative act? What would be your first decision for the overall server?
I think that the Senate has the responsibility of determining the legislation. And
Yes.
I don't really have that much of an objective right now because I think a lot of the legislation that's being passed is all too speculative. I'm more interested in getting numbers up for the group. And
Agreed.
if the first objective I would have is probably be hosting a pretty big event, whether that be a captain's tournament or an even bigger siege event than last time.
Thank you.
Of course.
Alrighty. Does anyone else from the General Assembly have questions for the candidate? Very well, Senator Blucher. Thank you very much for your time.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening to me.
All right. The next person we have would be Maximus, but he will be running late if he can make it. So next will be Princepales Peddle. I ask that you take the floor and present yourself to those assembled.
Okay. Hello, guys. Oh shit. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to say something. Okay. So I've been playing this online for a couple months now. I've been pretty active. Well, I wasn't active for the last couple weeks just from like stuff in my personal life, like moving. But other than that, like I'm playing this all the time. I'm active, or I try to be, in my clan and in the Empire. I feel like a lot of you should recognize me by now. I'm talking to people, trying to play with people. And with my clan leader Telemachus, I've been trying to like organize like times for like the clan and the Empire to all get together. I feel like I've talked about that with other people in the Empire, because I feel like just getting familiar with us, like, or with each other, like playing and like talking together, like would make us a lot stronger as an army and a country. Like so anyways, I was trying to have get groups together to practice fighting bandits and stuff like in this game. There's people rolling. Oh, sorry, I got distracted by what that guy said. But yeah. Anyways, I've been pretty active, and I just try to focus on like having like a good community where we all get along together, without like corruption or like all the politics that have been going on. I feel like we don't need that. There's no need for that really. I love this game, but at the end of the day, it is a game, so I feel like we don't need all that craziness. Like we can just focus on being as good as we can, fighting together, playing together, and just have a good time with it.
Very well. Thank you, Princepales Peddle. I open the floor to any senators who wish to present any questions.
I have a question.
Name?
Proconsul Scanchi, or Tiki.
Can you say your name again? I didn't quite hear you.
Scanchi?
Scott. What?
It's gonna change. I didn't realize that you couldn't change your name, so. But anyway.
Okay, Senator Scanchi, you have the floor.
Sure. So I had a question. So your last statement there about, getting rid of politics and all that, how do you propose to have a group of people with a varying range of ideas and not have politics amongst those people?
So I don't mean to make any drastic changes, get rid of stuff. Just it sounds like there's been just like overcomplications of people like having legislation for the sake of legislation. Just a lot of stuff that I don't know, it doesn't seem necessary to me. So like with me anyways, that wouldn't come from me. Like I would like things to just be like, as I said in my my request or my application, just I would try to have things simple, straightforward, just a system and a government that we can all be proud of and like know what's going on.
Is that it, Senator Scanchi?
Yeah, that was my only question.
Very well. Do any of the other senators have a question for the candidate? Moving on. Does any of the General Assembly have questions for the candidate? Man, we might actually get through this in an hour. All right. Thank you very much, Princepales Peddle, for your presentation.
Absolutely. Ave.
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 Okay, if I can get out of here.
I ask that Senator Jess please take the floor and present himself to those assembled.
Hello. Hope you guys are all doing well. If you can just bear with me for a second. Alright, can you guys hear me okay? I'm not too quiet.
You're a little bit quiet. Yeah, you might want to turn it up a bit.
Okay.
A little bit low, but yeah.
Let me turn it up a little bit. Hold on. All right. I think that should be better. Can you guys hear me?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Ave, and hello to my glorious Imperial Republic. We are here today to hear out each candidate on their stances and to decide who we will all support for our next Imperator, as well as Tribune. Thank you all for your time. I might not be the best at public speaking, as some of you are aware, so please bear with me. Even if you do not entirely support me or my agenda, I will always be open to discussion and change, so I hope you guys are all not closed off to me. All right. I will keep this as brief as possible and simply give you my stances on issues and my plans to actively solve them. I'm here to give you guys my 4-step DOME plan, D-O-M-E, to help this empire remain secure, active, and united. D is for diplomacy, so I will start there. As other members here are, I'm very close to the new Azerai Quasar Zabnapper. I believe we can count on him anytime or his forces for anything that the Empire needs. They are small in number, but I believe they are big in heart, and I support them as they will support the Empire. From there, I'm also very close to Vijans, the new High Khan of the Kuzites. We talk often, and I plan, just a few days ago actually, I gave him my pole sword for basically nothing in good faith, and he explained that his troops would aid mine any day. Also from there, I have a private House Holbrook channel in the Battanians Discord and message them there every so often to keep relations friendly. And they're extremely loyal to the Empire and our cause, so I don't think that we could ever not count on them. And all three factions I've personally reached out to that I stated above and have been personally reassured of our peacetime for 1 week, where all factions will agree to not invade and just secure their land. Just recently reached out and made sure that that was still the plan, and they all agreed. Valandia and Sturgia, however, have not gotten back to me, as I expected anyway. Fitting into diplomacy, organization, and events, I would like to hold more events with other nations, like Britannia Siege mode games or Captain mode tournaments. And so that's from where I'll finish off with diplomacy. From there, DO, so O for organization, I will take the Senate by the reins and spend the time needed to address issues daily and continue to work them out until an agreement is made. I will hold weekly Senate voice chat meetings to ensure that the Senate can remain on the same page and progressing in a forward direction. There's been way too much chaos in the Senate recently, and we need to get that shit sorted out with somebody that can be online more of the time when things are happening, and that I'm your guy. For General Chaos, he said too much what? I would like to say, let's say chaos.
Please
Anyway.
stay on topic. Cam.
Yes, sorry. I will also continue to send out anonymous surveys. Many of you have probably already gotten one in the past, for citizens and Senate members to express their feelings and problems in an effort to address them on a one-by-one basis. I feel like a lot of people have issues that they just kind of keep to themselves, and I feel like we could address them all if we really just were the ones to ask, actually reach out. You'd be surprised at how many people I reach out to. The first thing they say is, "Oh, thank you for reaching out." Like, they actually appreciate the effort. So from there, I will post weekly Imperator addresses to the Empire as a whole so that citizens can know what's going on in the Imperial Republic, as well as help announce future events. So, just give everybody something to look forward to in the week. They can see what events are coming up in the next week, and it's not just random announcements, something that's actually planned. From there, I have been and will continue research and experiments regarding troop battles and their correct troops to help us secure our fiefs and when they become available. I will aid, support, and spread the word of the one true faith, Moonism, the Moonlight religion. I will aggressively pursue a Pontifex Maximus to not only spread the holy message and convert others to Moonism, but also to host events in a timely, organized manner. From there, DOM, M is for military recruiting. I believe that recruiting and expanding the Imperial Army is the secret to not only a loyal and strong force, but also a failsafe to ensure that other clans that could wish to separate from the Empire cannot destroy us from the inside. I will appoint or have IA leadership officially appoint 2 to 4 recruiters from volunteers who will be paid a nice dinar from either me, the Imperator, or by the Imperial Treasury to recruit solely for the Imperial Army and to quickly bolster the forces of the IA to help them branch out. And lastly from there, E-D-O-M-E, E is for events. I truly believe that events in-game are the secret to keeping member activity on a weekly basis up and help prevent burnout. A bigger variety of events will be tried and tested. You've seen some of my ideas in the chat. Let's to elaborate: horse racing, hide and seek, captain's mode tournaments with other nations or in-house, and the continuation of siege mode events and maybe expansion upon that with bringing other factions in as well, among many other types of events. And lastly, again, I plan on searching for and assigning a Pontifex Maximus to help events be consistent and smooth. Thank you again for your time. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening to me. And I'll walk back through here now or take questioning, whatever.
All right, thank you very much, Senator Jess. I now open the floor to questions from the Senate.
I have a question.
Your name?
Proconsul Telemachus.
Proconsul Telemachus, you have the floor.
Hi, Jess. I have a question. A lot of us are kind of annoyed with the rate at which things are being debated in the Senate. It's really fucking annoying sometimes, and you just propose to continuously debate them until we all come to an agreement, which is something that it's not going to happen. How do you propose to actually like how do you propose to deal with that? And if it takes more than a day or like longer than a day, is there any way that you have an idea of simplifying this so that it doesn't get on everybody's nerves like it has been already?
I do, and I did touch on it a little bit, but weekly Senate meetings I think would be the cause of that. But I do believe that if there was a special occasion where something just couldn't be passed and it kept being canceled or taken off, whatever, it couldn't be passed, but it kept being brought up, I think that would warrant a immediate Senate voice chat meeting to discuss the issue. I feel like a lot of the time we try to deal with things through text, and a lot of the members can't really read it. So they get home like 6 hours later and they try to read through everything, and by then everything's kind of cooled down. So it just goes in circles. And I think voice chat meetings and like more timely talks, like we kind of just begin talks at any time, maybe setting a start time for the Senate would help things so everybody could be ready to talk about everything at a certain time of the day. That's just my ideas on the subject.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator Marcus. Does anyone else from the Senate have any questions for the candidate?
Proconsul, Telemon.
We're all senators, even if you're a proconsul.
I got a question.
Senator Chaos, you have the floor.
Wait, are you proposing only having like debates one time a week, or?
No. I'm talking about daily. Like maybe we should start talks like at a certain time of the day where so everybody could get online around the same time and be on Discord at the same time so they could talk about stuff. Because people just talk about stuff while most people aren't even listening or aren't even paying attention. And then they try to like come on hours later and they can't even give their opinion on it.
Oh, I meant you said the weekly Senate meetings or something?
Yeah.
I believe the senators talking about the voice chat.
Yeah. That's just an additional meeting I think we should have every single week just to keep everybody on the same page and to talk about issues that they have and like really be able to talk about it because we're in voice chat. We don't have to type everything out.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator Chaos. Does anyone else from the Senate have questions for the candidate?
Senator, not the Messiah, got a question.
Senator Not Messiah, you have the floor.
So I was just wondering how you plan to deal with the different sort of political factions that are forming within the Senate. Have you got any ideas for bridging said gaps? Because there seems to be quite a lot of polarizing views within the Senate.
I'm gonna be honest. I think we can. I think everybody's getting a bit antsy, a bit ready for something to happen. And in reality, we have a structure set up that does work, and it's proved to work. And I think if we rely on it, moving to a more Empire-ish standpoint during wartime after PvP gets announced, and remaining more of a republic right now to sort out issues during peacetime. I think this should keep things cool and heavy after Empire. Time whenever PvP gets announced, we have to look at things again. Things are going to change like crazy over the next few months. So what I say now may be redundant in 2 weeks, but I think we'll be okay with the structure we have now as long as we keep our political factions to politics and not power. If that makes sense.
If I may, real quick, candidate. Senator Messiah, when on the topic of such factions and whatnot, the fact of the matter is, like-minded individuals will tend to coalesce and tend to seek similar goals. I fundamentally do not believe disagreement on particular issues leads to genuine disunion. The fact of the matter is, we've had disagreement since day one. Senator Jess, can you attest to that?
No, absolutely. Oh dear God, yes.
Oh yeah.
We're coming up on our third election, right? It's been disagreement all the way down. The key that keeps us together, the keystone in this whole project, is that we believe in an empire, and the specifics are exactly that. Thank you, Senator Jess.
I have a question, Proconsul Cronus.
Senator Cronus, you have the floor.
Thank you. So what are your plans for reforming the Imperial Army and generally for the national security of the Empire?
I think the Imperial Army is actually the most important part of our empire. If one clan really needs help, I don't think they should be able to count on. I mean, in a perfect world, you should be able to count on every single clan to help them, right? But we're not in a perfect world. And when things are happening and clans are being sieged, we're losing fights, we need to have a force that we can count on, that we can send out as, a Senate and an Empire, to be able to deal with issues as they come up and not make it all fall on the clan's shoulders. It's nice to have clans, but they should be more of a auxiliary or an afterthought to our Imperial Army. For reformation of the Imperial Army, like I said in my speech, recruiting is the #1 step. That is the need, particularly recruiting to the Imperial Army directly. So hiring 2 to 4 is what I thought. Imperial recruiters that go around and they get paid based on how many recruits they get. They could get paid weekly either by me if I were voted Imperator, or by the Imperial Treasury, and they would go around and recruit members for the Imperial Army directly. So that would bring in new members, that would bring in new ideas, new leadership, and I think that's the #1 struggle for the Army right now, is just that it needs more people. From there, hopefully appointing membership and leadership, or having them appointed by the current IA leadership, to help them, sort out internal issues and plan events and stuff like that would be the goal.
All right, thank you.
Does anyone else from the Senate have a question for the candidate?
I'll ask one, Steve. It's Takeshi.
Senator Takeshi, you have the floor.
All right, Jess. So 2 questions, and the second one I'll ask depending on your answer to the first. Why do you believe in an empire? Why do you want there to be an empire?
I think a solid stance and a solid things happen in the Senate so slow, and during wartime we won't have that time. We need somebody that can make decisions, make them fast, and makes decisions that work, are proven to work, and are supported by the masses. So,
Senator Jess, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you're missing the point of his question. I don't think he's talking specifically about an empire.
My question, let me clarify this, Steve. My question wasn't about why we should have an imperator. My question was, why should we have an empire? What's the objective in your mind?
Well, the objective in my mind for an empire is just that we have a more solid stance on issues. But right now it's kind of opinions all over the place. And with an empire, it just seems like problems can be solved more quickly, more efficiently. But that is only during wartime, as I've stated before.
Okay. And speaking of wartime, what do you think is the greatest military threat the Empire faces once PvP's out?
Oh man, I've studied this so much. I've actually studied this so much. So our realist threat is the West. It's really our only threat. I know personally from talks that we can count on most of the factions around us, and if we can't, we have the numbers to stomp them out if they were to oppose us. But having them as an additional force on top of the IA and on top of the clans is just the icing on the cake. We need to look to the West, look at defensive strategies to push them back and break their armies. We ruin them, we bankrupt them, and then we push them. And we can play a defensive battle. I've spent so much time researching the troops, what's needed the best for castle sieges against Valandian and Sturgian forces. And Oink, actually, in here, has helped me with that. So thank you to him. But yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator Takeshi.
Actually, can I add on to that? Really quick?
Yes, Senator Jess. Be brief.
Independent factions, I just saw that. Thank you so much, Augustinus. Is another huge threat to us. These clans are going to be popping up out of nowhere, probably 30, 40 of them at a time, with new members. And that is a threat. I'm not going to say that's a threat, not a threat. But as long as we're open diplomatically with them, because they're going to have lower supplies, lower numbers, lower funds. As long as we're open diplomatically with them, and if they choose to attack us, go to war with us, we'll stomp them out as they come up. But we've been here since day one. We literally day one. So we have the supplies, we have the numbers, we have the loyalty. I think we will be here to stay.
Thanks, Jess.
If I may, real quick, Senator Jess, I would also include the fact that thanks to our process for adding new clans into the Empire, we could probably, for the independent clans that do rise up, there will probably be some that we could co-opt. It's
Exactly.
part of the reason we designed this.
Drag them into the Imperial Army. That's like the entire goal. I'd like.
Well, a whole clan going into the Imperial Army. I don't know if that would be reasonable as opposed to pushing them through.
Clans is a loose word. I mostly mean like groups of members that come in to play the mod together. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Your name, please?
Marcus.
Senator Telmarcus, you have the floor.
So Jess, you said that you believe that the factions around us will stay out of our wars with the West. You know that's actually the case, and if they're not just paying lip service to diplomacy, creating plans just in case they see a weakness and they're ready to pounce on that. And what do you propose if they do change sides? Like, do you have a contingency plan set for this? It does not involve just stomping people.
Yeah,
either.
no, I understand. Understandable. Yes, I do actually. I'm not gonna act like I know exactly what's gonna happen once PvP starts. Everybody could just be lying right now through their teeth and just, saying one thing, but when the blood starts being shed, they do something entirely different. This is why I think the implementation of Imperial diplomats, we have some now, but assigning more to specific factions and having them check in on like a weekly or monthly basis, and they're the ones that can push for events between our factions. That will strengthen our bonds and be able to account on them more anyway. And for contingency plan's sake, definitely have enough members of each surrounding clan for them to effectively hold them off. As long as we focus on a defensive war and not an offensive war, if we could hold our fights from Valandia and Sergio, we should be able to hold them from these clans as well, these factions as well.
All right. Does anyone else from the Senate have questions for the candidate?
I got another question. Chaos?
Senator Chaos, you have the floor.
Since you're speaking about diplomats, do you have any plans for like what would you do for your like Imperial cabinet?
Well, honestly, you don't expect to get that far until you get that far. I'm not gonna act like I have a plan to appoint anyone specific so far, but I would be open to taking applications, and I would look through them and hopefully pick the best candidates for the jobs, and not just based on personal feelings.
I meant more like what positions would you have in your cabinet if you were to form one?
Oh, I would definitely make a detailed schematic of exactly how I'd like my cabinet to be run and put it out to the masses, but as of right now, I don't have one drawn out.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else from the Senate have questions? If you do, I'd ask that you keep it truncated so we can finally move on to the General Assembly. We do have more candidates to get through. Very well. Thank you, Senators. Does anyone from the General Assembly have questions for the candidate? Alrighty, Senator Jess, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I know I was taking my time for quite a while there, but
Hey, you were the one getting asked the questions.
Still.
I asked Senator Absolon to take the floor and present himself to the Assembly.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. So, well, my name is Absolon. I'm a senator and I'm a member of the Imperial Army. I think that I'm best qualified for this role because I want to focus on what we have right now. No one really knows when PvP is going to be released, but we know for a fact that Clans Update is about to be released. And first, we need to focus on the Empire clans that goes after the wipe announcement. Since we have a lot of people, but some of them haven't really been on the game for a while. I want to proceed with a census to know the numbers that we have. I want to know how many people do we really have on those clans. Because yeah, we have a big empire. I mean, a really big empire. Just look at everyone. But at the real time, we have some cities that I don't see the members active on the game. Besides that, I want to focus on the Imperial Army and the protection of our borders with a policy at instead of creating a whole army that will be, for example, if you're at Danostica and a clan is being attacked at Sionica, instead of telling you go from Danostica to Sionica, I want to create cohorts on the army, protect specific borders. I mean, everyone knows our 3 borders, the most dangerous one being Umbrella, Epicrotia, and Orticia, because it's the one that limits with Blandia, Battania, and the Aserai. So I want to create the cohorts in order that we can have a cohort per city, or with the neighbors of that city. That way, if someone at Orticia is being attacked, the cohort composed of Orticia, Lagira, and Rote can go to protect that city. Same goes for the north. If someone at Umbrella is being attacked, people from Onira, Denostica, and even Lycaron can go to Umbrella to protect that city. I understand that we have some allies on the other kingdoms like Aserai or Crusade, but once the PvP is out, everyone will show their true colors. Like, we can even have spies in the Empire trying to verify our strength or acknowledge how strong we are, and once the PvP is out, those alliances can disappear. So I want to create a steel curtain between Sturgia and Blandia, especially between Epicrotia and Umbrella, in order to protect our most dangerous cities. Besides that, the other thing that I'm concerned is that the main cities for new players are being abandoned. I've seen that across Rote. There is a lot of 60 stacks of Sea Raiders daily, on a daily basis. We need to organize bandit hunts in order to recruit new players and to secure the roads for the new players, because we already have, well, most of us already have passed the 60 number, but those who are below the 60 number stacks will have a hard time doing trading or even farming looters between Rote and Jolmaris, because I've been around there daily and I see that even the forest bandits are on the 50 stacks on the large numbers. That's my proposal, and that's why I want to be the Imperator for a time, in order to guarantee that the Empire is strong, it has the numbers, and it's secure enough for when the PvP is out.
Thank you very much, Senator Absolon. Does anyone from the Senate have questions for the candidate?
I got a question.
Senator Chaos, you have the floor.
I got to go after this, but really quickly, I'm just wondering, when you were saying cohorts guard the borders, you're talking about clans setting up cohorts with each other based on region?
Indeed. I'm thinking about creating cohorts with the clans. I mean, instead of being a clan, the cohort will be the Imperial Army, cohort number 1, cohort number 2, on those specific borders.
But the membership of that cohort will be based on the cities near it?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Does anyone else from the Senate have questions for the candidate? Very well. Moving on. Does anyone from the General Assembly have questions for the candidate?
Aye, Alexandros does.
Princepales Alexanderos, you have the floor.
So you talk about our dangerous borders, yet I know you did not say anything about the Valadians. Is there a reason for that? Or a simple slip of the tongue?
Oh, I mentioned Orticia and Lagira. That is the border with Blandia, Battania, and Aserai. That's why I mentioned that we need to create a cohort between the 3 cities that it's limiting with Blandia, Rote, Lagira, and Orticia.
Another question, how do you expect to make these clans, unify together and give their men up for this border?
Well, pretty much every clan at least has 1 member in the Imperial Army. We need to talk with them to verify if they won, and after that, we need to show them the threats that they are facing. Because to be honest, 1 clan cannot withstand, for example, let's say the clan at Orticia. If for some reason Battania and Blandia come to attack Orticia, they need all the strength that we can give them, but if they don't have a cohort around, they will have a hard time in the meantime that everyone comes from the main cities to help them.
Alright, I'm satisfied.
If I may, Senator Absolon, I would just like to take a moment to remind those guys here that regardless of anything else, there is an obligation among all members of the Empire. An attack on one is an attack on all. Now, if we're being attacked on 4 sides, that's certainly quite the scenario. Not necessarily implausible, but definitely an emergency situation. But in the situation where that wouldn't be the case, and again, such things would be up to the Senate regardless. As it currently stands, everyone is obligated to go to war regardless. This is not some freaking alliance. This is an empire. We're all member clans in it. We act as one. We freaking go to the Senate to represent ourselves, represent our interests as individuals and as clans. But we march as one. Anything else is absolutely outside the scope of this. Does anyone else from the General Assembly have questions for the candidate? All right, Senator Absolon, thank you very much for your time.
Very much, guys.
All right. And then finally, unless Maximus is able to make it today, Mr. Misfit, I ask that you present yourself to the Assembly. Misfit?
Gonna like set up his corpse over here.
Yeah, can someone like pantomime, like shove a hand up his fucking ass and move his lips while you speak?
It's here in the Discord at least, still.
Wait, where's the on button?
May I chime in? His cousin was supposed to come over to come fix his computer, so I suspect that's why he's gone.
All right. We will move on to the tribunes. If he does not return by the time they are finished, it'll be the same as for Maximus. I'm trying to give him the opportunity to arrive and speak. I know he's at work. Any candidate who doesn't return before all the candidates who are present speak, we will adjourn, and the Senate will move to recess, and they can figure it out on their own. So, moving on then to the applications for the tribunates. I call Princepales Alexanderos to present himself to the Assembly.
Alrighty. Citizens of Calradia, I thank you for this great opportunity to become the Tribune of the Plebs, and I'm glad to see so many of you here partaking in this election. You are the very reason this republic stands, and your involvement is critical. For those who do not know me, I am Princepales Alexanderos of Leviathan. It is my pledge to represent you to the best of my abilities, and if I am to be elected, I encourage you to come to me with your ideas and concerns. I'd like to give my gratitude to the previous Tribune for he worked hard every day to make sure the people's concerns reach the Senate. I hope to emulate him in his work ethic and serve the Republic well. Now, it is to my belief that this Republic is sick. It lacks faith among the citizens, as I have observed and have seen. Factionalism and divides are the major, and I say major, plague this Republic stands. It is sad that it is my belief that sometimes I feel that our neighbors are more a friend than foe than my fellow neighbor. We need to restore the faith in the Empire through reforms and more progress. That is all I have to say.
Thank you, Princepales Peddle. Or not Peddle, sorry, Alexanderos. My apologies. Does any of the Senate have questions for the candidate?
I've got a question. Not the Messiah. Hello.
Senator Messiah, you have the floor.
We already have quite a complex, some might say over-complex system within the Senate. Just curious how you're planning to reform the Senate when it's already, some would say, overcomplicated. I'm sure reforms would then overcomplicate something that is already overcomplicated. Just how are you going to go about that? Curiously.
Now, I was, in my word use of reform, I wasn't referring to our political system, but more of our military system. I myself have written up a complex reform sheet for our military, and if I am elected tribune, I plan to push it through and disband the current military and rebuild it using a new structure.
You got any clues
I have a
about
question.
that structure?
Now, I would like to say
hold
this
on.
military.
Wait.
Let me finish,
Hold
please.
on. Real quick, candidate, I need to clarify for you, just so you're aware, as it currently stands, absolute authority and capability in the structure and therefore potential to reform the IA as it currently exists relies with the Tribune of the Army. The position you are running for is Tribune of the Plebs. They're different.
Yes, but I guess you can agree that I can put form more form.
Yeah,
Is
he's
this,
saying he's
not
going to
true?
change it. He's not saying that. That's.
Yeah, I'm not going to change it myself, but I'm going to put through a proposal. If
I
you
just
would
wanted to
say.
make sure that was clear.
Yes.
Yeah, that was what my question was actually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to continue on my train of thought. This army would consist of no clan loyalty and would be made up of new people, simply put. No clans would be inside of this Imperial Army, and this Imperial Army would either be loyal to the Imperator or a newly position, which is a military prefectus, head of the army.
I have a question.
Gentlemen, I actually wish to ask a question. Princepales Alexanderos, would not it make sense for it to be loyal to the Senate, the representative of all the members of the?
Or to
Well,
the
this
Empire
loyal.
itself?
Yeah. See, now you say it's loyal to the Senate. Why would it need to be loyal to the Senate if it's loyal to the Republic? And it doesn't have to be loyal to the individual senator that sit, but more of the institution that sits.
That is an acceptable answer. Did any of the senators have questions for the candidate?
Not the Messiah again.
Senator
Messiah.
Was he done talking?
Yes.
Just following up from that, previously when in our discussions in the Senate, that has come up. How would you separate this out from potentially being like another clan, but like a clan loyal, like an Empire clan, an Imperial Army clan? Because then wouldn't that give that clan special preferential treatment compared to all the other clans that are already in the Empire?
That is a good question. How I'd go about making sure that this doesn't turn into another clan. That is something that would have to be more meticulously thought on. My proposal is more of simply a framework, less than all the kinks worked out. I plan to, if I am elected, I plan to also get other people's opinions on it and more rationalize the framework. It is not set in stone in my belief.
I have a question, Senator Cronus.
Senator Cronus, you have the floor.
Thank you. So you mentioned the military reforms that you intend to propose once you are in office. What about the political reforms for you? What policies do you think are the highest priority for us to get through the Senate?
I believe fixing our old institutions, like I said, the Army is one of my most important beliefs because that would start for the new people coming in, join the Army, have something to look forward to. In terms of political reforms, as you say, I have not thought deeply upon political reforms as I have no access to the Senate. And to see the current political climate it currently is, I am aware of the divides, and I am aware that some people disagree a lot more they disagree with people more so than others. But to answer your question, I have no current plans.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else from the Senate have questions for the candidate?
I'll ask too. It's Takeshi, Steve.
Senator Takeshi, you have the floor.
Thanks, Steve. All right, first question. As you said, you don't have access to Senate chambers, so you wouldn't know this, but there was a near identical proposal to your IA reform plan put forwards in the last 3-4 weeks. It was met with, a lot of, pushback, so to speak. What about your proposal will be different to get it through this time?
Well, as you just said, I cannot answer your question because I have not seen this exact reform. I would have to look at it and see how it is different from my own.
Well, I'm telling you right now, it was near identical. So I'm asking you.
Well, unless you have the paper I have in front of me, I do not assume you think it's identical. I've not given you every single little detail of my proposal.
Candidate, if I may.
Yeah, he has no idea why
Hold
the,
on, hey.
the proposal didn't.
I think the crux of the Sanders question was that there's already been pushback to IA for some of what you mentioned here as a proposal. How do you intend to address that? What are your thoughts on that?
Let's see. Now, if I can ask Takeshi, what sort of things were pushed back upon? What was not okay with the senators, so that I may know what caused them to fail, and I can see what I can make mine different. Because I don't know what caused it to fail, so I would need to know what caused it to fail in order to realize that answer.
The core thing that people were not okay with was the difference between affiliated and unaffiliated people in the IA. Affiliated means you're affiliated with some clan or other organization. Unaffiliated means you're just dedicated to an IA, just like you said. So people were not okay with having that mix or more of one versus the other. So what's your response to that?
All right. I would answer that question saying that if you were to listen a little more intently to my original answer, I would say that the army would consist of no clan loyalty. That's what I said.
Okay.
I do not plan to allow clan members who are already established to join the Imperial Army, because that only repeats this current... Yes?
To clarify what he's saying that was the sticking point. That the part of the proposal that specified that those affiliated with member clans of the Empire were barred from service, that was, or at least considered a secondary class of member. That was the point which specifically received pushback. All
right. Okay, and I'll answer your question fully. I do not plan to let clans into this. That is my answer to your question.
So let's take a step back. You're answering my question by repeating my question. My question is, well, your idea had pushback. What about your idea will be changed such that it doesn't meet the same pushback? Do you think people will just change their mind between then and now? Is that your answer?
Yeah, I'm not voting for that.
Gentlemen.
Let's see. So it received pushback because the clans wanted their people inside the army. I'm going to assume that. And they do not want, and it is their belief that either their clan members are loyal to the Republic, therefore they should be in the army, or it's their belief that anybody should be able to join the army. I would push it through nonetheless. If it receives pushback, I can maybe try to explain more thoroughly. I believe that our system is also way too complex for its simple, use than current, with the many positions it has.
Okay, I'll take that answer. And then my second question for you is, what is the responsibility of the Tribune of the Plebs? What do you want to do with that position?
Oh, I wish to, I encourage everyone that is a citizen who does not have their voice heard on a more regular basis to come to me with their ideas and proposals, much like the senators do on a daily basis. And I wish to talk with them about their ideas and push them through nonetheless. Because it's my responsibility to make sure their voice reaches the Senate.
I have another question, Senator Cronus.
One second, Senator Cronus. Senator Casey, I assume that finished your questioning?
Yeah, that wraps it up.
Thank you very much. Senator Cronus, you have the floor.
Sure. So, Alexandra, so you mentioned that that you did not have access to the Senate chambers to see what's been discussed and everything, and that makes it difficult. I'm sure everybody here agrees. It makes it difficult for the average citizen to know what's going on in the Empire, and also to step up when the Empire calls for them to volunteer for positions, such as for Proconsul. It's very difficult letting people to form new clans because it simply relied on somebody making an announcement to the general public. So my question to you is this: do you think that transparency is an issue in the Imperial Republic right now? And how would you make, and if so, how would you make the Republic more open to the public?
Well, to my knowledge, it is not illegal to put what the senators discuss about inside the Ask the Tribune chat, and I plan to announce what has been accomplished and what we are currently deliberating on. In terms of transparency, I do not believe transparency is currently an issue of the Republic. For what I've seen, I know quite a decent deal just by looking around, talking to people. So I do not believe transparency is a problem. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
To clarify, Princepales Alexanderos, on what you mentioned earlier, it is not illegal in any form, sense, or fashion to take topics that have been discussed in the Senate and relay them to your constituency as you see fit.
Thank you for clarifying.
Does anyone else from the Senate have questions for the candidate? Very well. I will now open the questions for the candidate to the general populace. To clarify, this is the man representing your interests in the Senate. So I highly recommend, if you have questions or concerns, to voice them. Very well.
I encourage members of the General Assembly to voice their concerns now, please.
Wait, I'm not a part of the General Assembly, but I do have a question.
Your name?
I'm welcome to your question.
Proconsul Telemachus.
Senator Telemachus, you have the floor.
Okay, sorry, Alexandros. So the position you're applying for is Tribune of the Plebs, which is our direct liaison between the Senate and the members of our citizenry. Right now, we're a little bit inactive with, the waiting for updates and everything. Do you have any proposals to get the citizens to be able to start taking part in this community more and viewing that they are a part of a larger community as a whole?
I would like to refer back to my army reform. I believe this will be a great way for the citizens that are currently right now who are not in the current army to look for more of a way to elevate themselves in the current republic and feel like they have some form of class momentum. And I believe giving them an institution to be a part of is very pivotal to their enjoyment and may perhaps even give them faith in the current government if they do have more of a grasp on what's going on.
It is worth... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna say thank you for your answer, but apart from the army reform, which is something that is going to have to go through the Senate, well, first proposals and then Senate floor. So there's a two-step process to getting that passed. So apart from that, so even let's say we'll say it does get passed, but it's going to take at least probably a month to do so. What are you going to do in that month? Or even if it doesn't get passed, do you have any other plans or contingency plans?
Contingency plans.
Active. Yeah.
The thing about a contingency plan, if I were, well, like you said, even if I do have a plan, I would have to make it go through the Senate nonetheless. So even if I were to think of a new thing, which I have many ideas in my head, I do not wish, or not that I do not wish, but I do not control the Senate, and for them to pass ideas that are given to me by the plebs or for myself, I have no control over the matter of, well, like I said, contingency plans. So, if you're talking about hosting events, I believe that's more of an Imperator's job. I believe I am not the head honcho of getting people very psyched for to play the game. I believe the updates will do that themselves.
Actually, that was my question. In terms of plans and contingency plans, it's like, do you have any events planned in mind? Because the Tribune of the Plebs is kind of next to the Imperator. They are the head honcho of getting people riled up and ready to go because they represent the interests of the people. So I guess back to my earlier question is like, and I don't mind if you think it has to go through the Senate. Some things probably won't have to, and you'll be able to do them. But I would just like you to elaborate on those if possible.
Possible events. I mean, I wouldn't say that sieges would be more of my taste. Maybe just going out, maybe with a few of our fellow community members, going to the villages, maybe going around and helping the new citizens out with their armies, because I was there a while ago, and it is definitely hard to get past that initial army cap of around 20. And I personally will do and would do go help them out, do that. If that's would be a suitable answer. If not, please allow me to re-answer.
And do you mind if I add on to that? So like, would you make an event out of going out and, you know, helping people, like say posting in the Empire announcements, like, hey, we're all going to be getting together to have like, say, a bandit hunting event, like a siege event? Would that be a part of your plans?
Yes, such as that, and also maybe arena games, stuff like that too. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone else in the Senate have? No, actually, I think I know. Does anyone have questions for the candidate? It is open to everyone at this time. Very well, Princepales Alexanderos. Thank you very much.
Actually, Steve, I'll ask something. I'll ask one thing.
Your name?
Takeshi.
Senator Takeshi, you have the floor.
In your opening statement where you were reading from a Google Doc, you said something about neighbors being friends or foe. I think you misspoke. Can you restate that?
No, I did not misspoke. What I said was that with my current belief, I believe there are some people that do not wish to partake in this republic more than others. And I find that I can trust our neighbors, such as the Grand Kuzits, our faithful allies, more than others in this republic. And I'm not going to name specifics because that is hearsay, and I'm not going to do that.
So you're sitting in front of us asking for citizens to vote for you, and then you're insulting these citizens by saying that you trust Kuzates more than said citizens.
Oh no, I do. I trust the citizens with all my heart. I'm more referring to certain senators. That is it.
But then that's conflicting because senators are citizens.
Well, I am not representing senators for my position.
Let me clarify, Senator Takeshi. They are separate, but your concern is still valid. Candidate, I would take the moment to remind you that everyone in this room has made the same agreements and commitments to the Empire, and everyone is bound by those agreements and commitments.
What senators are you talking about? Why don't you just name them?
Like I said,
wait, hold on.
Gentlemen, I'm not going to have this right now. I will take the moment to remind the candidate and ask that he relay this to the members of his clan, that when the time comes, he will be expected to fulfill his obligations toward the other members of the Empire, just as they will. Anyone in breach of these will be considered being in an act of sedition and insurrection in the general Empire. We've all agreed to these laws. We've all ratified them in the Senate. No clan is not represented there, and they have the avenues to take recourse. There are many ways for our laws, as we are men of laws, to handle these. And I would ask the candidate to please refrain from thinly veiled insinuations about other members of this empire.
My apologies to the Senate.
Does anyone others? Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, it's not really a question, but it's just a clarification that the citizens is actually made up of the proconsular clans that make up this empire. So by saying you claim to represent the citizens means you represent the clans as well. That's all, sorry.
I'll allow it, it's fine. Does anyone else have a question of substance for the candidate for Tribune of the Plebs and his potential policies moving into the office should he be elected? All right, Princepales Alexanderos, thank you very much for your time.
I thank you all for your questions.
I would like to call Mr. Broger to the floor. Please present yourself to those assembled.
Steve, if I may interrupt, Emperor Misfit is back, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
I'm aware that he's back. Anyone that missed their opportunity to speak will go at the end. So, Mr. Broger, please present yourself to those assembled.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Broger. I guess I feel like the person who should represent the public should be the little guy. And I just started this game and I have no army, so I need the most help. And I also have the least amount of money, most likely, than anybody here. So I would be extremely motivated to have everybody get together, whether veterans who have played for a very long time or new people such as myself or anybody else who is willing to help us go and say farm bandits, things of that nature. And that in of itself creates a larger army for us as an empire to have, and it also gives us the ability to have increased presence within our own borders. And by having increased presence in our borders, people will perceive increased strength. And I think there's a significant amount of distrust that I'm hearing amongst everybody at the moment. And I think it would be nice to have maybe a fresh take, fresh take on some things. Somebody who is still learning some things could make the game exciting for others due to a new perspective. I know myself, I come with many people who are part of the plebs, because we all have nothing. We all are pretty much working from scratch together, and a few of us have been quite successful, so we have learned something, but we know we have much to learn. And I know that my goal would be to be more interested in what's going on in the Senate, hearing the general goal and campaign goals and whatever those may be, and gather people together in these groups to have not necessarily official events of, hey, we're going to raid bandits or whatever it may be. Just join up with us, get to know us, keep it simple, less official, because at the end of the day, the legalities and protocol really lies within the Senate itself. But as far as the public is concerned, it's interest and engagement and profit individually. So I think as individuals being profitable, we also will be stronger. And that's pretty much my spiel.
Thank you, Mr. Broger. Do any of the members of the Senate have questions for the candidate?
I'll ask a question.
Your name?
Takeshi again.
Senator Takeshi, you have the floor.
Broger, it seems like you're one of the few people here that seems to be unaffiliated with the clan. Do you think that gives you any advantage in being Tribune of the Plebs?
I don't necessarily think so. That would allow. Well, I actually am part of Emperor Misfit's group. So I am part of, I guess, one of the clans. I don't know if that's what we're considering it to be, but I am part of a group, That being said, this group is very fresh. Many of us are still getting into this and figuring it out. So we really simply want to learn. I'm not viewing it as like I'm coming in and I'm going to say we have tons of people now, so this is what we want. My goal would be to learn, to have an open, even, balanced discussion that would allow everybody to really weigh in if they were able. I guess if that helps.
Yeah, that helps. So to speak, you're basically almost coming in with a clean slate. Nothing holding you down.
Yeah. Right. I don't have many worries. I just know what would make a group strong. And in my mind, strength would arise from unity, and unity arrives from camaraderie and togetherness physically, and in the sense of being in parties, killing bandits and things of that nature. Perhaps going to dual servers to mess with each other, or go into arena, stuff like that. Because it's just fun to have a togetherness where you kind of like shit talk each other in a way, because you kind of need that. You got to blow off steam, and I think that's really a big part of this role, at least from what I'm anticipating.
Thank you, Broger.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Senator. Does any of the other senators have questions for the candidate? Alrighty then. Does any of the General Assembly have questions for the candidate who will be representing them? Very well. Looks like you made yourself quite clear, Mr. Broger. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. So now for the individuals who were not present earlier. Is Mr. Misfit present?
I'd
I
also
am-
like to say thank you to Broger.
Oh.
Mr. Misfit, is your mic green to green?
Yeah,
kinda
would it
gonna
be
need
cool?
that.
Would it be cool if I switched real quick my microphone?
How long do you think it'll take?
1 minute, just to my phone. I can't really hear too well with the music. It's not shutting down.
All right. Very well. Take your minute. Is Mr. Or no? He's in the army, isn't he? The Centurion Maximus present.
He's on his way.
Okay, he's on his way. Tell you what, gentlemen. Let's take 5. There should be plenty of time for Mr. Misfit to get his situation square, and hopefully for Centurion Maximus to join us.
I'm here.
And then, oh, you're here now?
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Are you just not physically in Lycron?
I am not physically there, no. I am making my way.
To be completely honest, that's perfectly fine. I asked that Centurion Maximus present himself to those assembled.
Alright, well, hey everybody, I'm Maximus. Maximus Decimus, and I appreciate y'all letting me come here. Am I supposed to start? Sorry, I just sat back down. But anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say here, gentlemen, is the reason why I want to be your Imperator, and I will have to go here very soon, but I'll make this short. Is one, I came in here from Valandia, came in here a month and a half ago, and I was given proconsulship of Legata, and I didn't really pay attention too much to the Senate, didn't do any of that. And I kind of started peeking in and realizing that it was pretty toxic in here, and I don't think a lot of it will work for PvP. A lot of the stuff that happens in here, it's just not gonna keep us united for PvP. And the things that I'd like to do as Imperator is kind of unite us by doing events. I haven't seen any events in here since I've joined as Valandia. Came from there. We had more events there than we did here. Like, I think Blucher was the only one who I've seen do an event in my month and a half of being here almost. The siege event, and I don't think I think we need to kind of unite each other playing events, or captain mode, skirmish, sieges, and that's really my plan, is to kind of just talk to each clan leaders, get to know everybody, figure out what everybody's strengths and weaknesses are, and set up events like tournaments, clear bandits, all that fun jazz. And that's really about it, guys. I'm just going by what I think is in the game right now. Getting stronger at PvP, recruiting, make sure everybody's got numbers for when PvP comes, and make sure we're all pretty much on the same page and united. That's really about it, guys.
Well, thank you very much. Did you have more?
Yeah, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to work here for like 10 minutes. So,
all right.
Thank you very much, time, gentlemen.
Yes, thank you very much, Centurion Maximus. I suppose we won't be able to get to questions since it looks like he has to go back to work. You can?
I can kind of. Yeah, I can.
All right. I would ask the gentlemen that you keep your questions succinct. Does anyone from the Senate have questions for the candidate? All right, very well. Does anyone from the General Assembly have questions for the candidate? Seems like what you said was self-evident, Centurion. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, I was muted.
Oh, did you have a question for him?
Yes.
What's your name again?
Alexandros.
Princepales Alexanderos, you have the floor. Centurion Maximus, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, very well. You have the floor.
What is your what do you think about the clans currently within the Empire? What do you think their place is within this system? Do they think they do great for the Empire, or do you think they do worse as a whole for the Empire? And what would you do if you were Imperator?
Well, right now I think this is more. Don't hate me, Steve, but I think this is more of a collection of alliances, and I think everybody kind of is that way. You know, I think everyone's a little bit out for themselves. Although I feel like there's no unity. Like, I don't talk to any clans other than I watch the little bit that I could see. The only thing that's active is the Senate chat, and we spent half of our time fighting in that. So, as Imperator, what I'd like I said, set up events, kind of squash, get rid of the drama. I would like to speak to each clan individually and, figure out their feelings against, other clans and try and, work it out. I feel like, realistically, guys, just a lot of drama. I don't think I want us to survive as an empire. I would definitely sit down and work with all the proconsulars and the senators. I don't have any laws that in my head right now that I'd make, but it's more, I want to engage this community and not have the shit talking behind each other's back. That's what I see a lot, and it's pointless. We're not going to survive in PvP if we're shit talking each other. It doesn't matter how many members you have. We're part of the Empire. We're all Imperial citizens. Let's work together and keep this shit together. I don't know if I answered your question, but...
You did. Thank you for your honesty.
Very well. Thank you very much, Centurion Maximus. Did anyone else have a question? Otherwise, I will let the candidate go. All right. Thanks, Maximus.
Thank you.
All right. And finally, after 2 months of his foretold arrival, is Mr. Misfit finally ready to address the assembly?
Thank you. Thank you. I actually enjoyed this a lot. This was my first time being in a senators meeting and actually getting to learn about the fundamentals of the game, how this was set up. I heard so much stuff about this, and I've been running another portion of our clan, trying to keep it active, trying to keep it alive. And I decided to take a step and join the rest of my brothers on this because they said I would be very, very interested in this, that it is something that we could have kind of implement structure, organization, implement tactics, but not only tactics in warfare, but tactics in a political side of things. I run the Byzantine clan. I've been doing that for about 6 years. I started with a group of friends, and we grew up to a large amount of people. And with that large amount of people, you put these people together, and everybody fights and argues and bickers and whatnot, and this and that. You create a little bit of systematic houses. You move people around. You give people the opportunity to have recognition. You give people the opportunity to have a say. You allow people the chance to stand up and say, this is me and my friends, me and my people. And, we want to be alliance with you. We want to be friendship, our house and your house, or our faction, your faction. I've worked with other clans, and I've always wanted to create something that was different, create something that people look forward to at the end of their days to get onto. And with this kind of game, I believe that the very men in here, the very people that are here setting up these events and whatnot have great ideas and have great passion for it. And I'm right here with you. And I'd love to help as much as I can. And so as Imperator, I feel like I can bring in a new sense of involvement. I feel like I can set up events that you guys would really like, that you guys would want to bring more people to. The recruitment and the Imperial Army and this and that. I heard a lot of stuff that I was quite confused on. I didn't very know like the history of things or the quarrel between different people and whatnot. But if we're gonna do this, we have to put our minds together. We have to do it together. We have to be able to be conquerors together. The kings of our own lands, the kings of the later lands. But we have great ideas here that I've heard, and people, with misunderstanding or disagreement. And I believe that we can really do something that's different. And I want to be able to be the one here to present the ideas, to bring you guys together, to allow you guys to share what you think is the best, opinion, a best idea, and let everyone talk about it. Let everyone share their opinion on that. I believe that if you guys are able to drop any old transgression with somebody or any little issue with somebody because of something they said or did, we can genuinely take over the map. We can do things that no one's ever seen. before. I get on this game, I get my computer set up. I worked 7 hours to fix my computer with Broger and with Dutch and my uncle. And there was some crazy thing with it. And I wanted to play this very badly. And I saw it and it was awesome. And to get you guys all together here to talk on topics, to be so formal and professional, awesome. We don't have to be fighting amongst each other. We don't have to have distrust amongst each other. We just need someone who can settle the score. We need someone who can rally us together. And not my ideas are always going to be the best ideas. Not your guys' ideas are going to be the best ideas. We all have to come on common ground. We all have to move to the same land and understand that we're trying to rise up here. We're trying to take over. We're trying to do things right. I believe that most men here want to be proper and just, want to be fair and equal. I don't believe anyone here wants to be a dictator. And if you do, we'll find out about you one day. Treason. But I believe that with everything that we got going on here, PvP, I guess, is not released it between different countries or wars or what you call it and whatnot. I was hearing about the other factions. I have no history, no understanding of the other factions. All I know is about this when it first got created in like March, and I joined up and saw this Imperial Republic and everything. And this is awesome. So rally the clans, rally the Kingsmen, rally the people, bring them together. Allow them to have a say. Get more people into the Senate, people that are going to stick to the lines, going to abide by the rules, going to be supportive, going to show up to events and not flake and not be able to come and, listening to Spotify or sleeping or doing something. We need people that are reliable. Everybody's busy. Everybody has lives. I look at it like this. Be the king in your real life. Take care of business, handle your life, and be the top dog of it. Bring people around. Be a full-blown leader without even having to actually assert those words. Be a leader by just walking around and being one. Inspirational because of how you think, how you act, not by what you say. And so I'm working on a project, and this project I see is on Bannerlord, and you guys are doing it right now. And I want in on it, and I want to help you guys. And I have no rank or no rank doesn't mean anything to me. Leadership is not rank. Leadership is something different. And none of us need to be climbing and climbing and climbing to get the highest rank. The position that everybody is trying to assert themselves in is a position that you practice leadership there. You build your leadership there. You bring people together. You take care of everybody. My goal there would be to take care of all of you, to allow you guys to actually be yourselves, to have fun, to enjoy. It's not to just try to overthrow and be number one all the time, which is the mindset people have, is I want to be here, I want to be there, I want to be conquered. It's why don't we all kind of put 10% in together so that 100% is met? And why don't we just all stick to the right side, stick to the truth, stick to having integrity so that we know that there's no one backstabbing and plotting and playing games. If we want to be serious, if we want to really have borders that exist, strong borders, big red borders around all our, when PvP is out, you want to be able to send an Imperial army of a couple hundred warriors. I'm not talking about let's go recruit people off this and that and that. I'm talking about badass, elites, Spartans. Never back down, never give up, never stop. One insult, to one wrong person, and then one of those motherfuckers is going to mess you up. That's the kind of Imperial army that we need. We need a force that is in the middle of us, in the middle of all of us, that is so powerful that nobody wants to reckon with it. And on top of that, we need an army on every border. I don't remember what the young lad's name was earlier. It sounded like he was speaking Spanish a little bit. Or I heard the accent. And
Kennedy, if I may real quick, you are referring to Senator Absolon.
Yes, he sounded awesome, man. I wanted to say something, but I couldn't say anything earlier. But he seemed like a really cool guy, and I wanted to be like, yo, you speak Spanish, and Spanish to him, and see what he said. But really what he was saying, these cohorts, these are legions. So he's got a very great idea. And I swear, if I probably met him before, I would have made him a general. I would have made him a leader. And this was, this is Xbox years ago when I was starting stuff. And basically, his idea of having cohorts, of having legions, is a very functional and a very progressive idea. It will take some time. It'll take, everybody having to put in that 100% and say, hey, we're going to make this happen and we're going to be loyal to you. If you serve me, I serve you. It's not all you serve me. It's I'm here to serve you guys. I'm here to give it all to you. And all we're doing is creating this, you know, you have your legislative, your judicial, and your executive branch, and government, and democracy, and this and that, and all this craziness, right? Think of the future that we have now with all this government. We're getting to take it back to what it used to be like, you know, trying to make it what it was like, and kind of assert that into a game here, where we get to bring our armies and clans and groups of friends and all the new people that are to come, and we get to create the Rome that they want, the world that they were trying to play in and live in. We can do that, and I think it's possible. So I would like to also thank Dutch, and I would like to thank the rest of you from here that were messaging me and inviting me and telling me to get on in this. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to working with everybody. I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of the people that are here, that are, you know, not here, but here. And I really do think that we could work on some things here that, you know, go along the lines as structure, that go along the lines of loyalty to each other, respect. You know, we need to grow a military around our borders, grow a military in the middle. We need to have growth inside of our towns. I'm not really sure, okay? So don't make me like, I'm not stupid for this, hopefully not. But the trade, right? I don't know if you can trade in this game. I don't know if is that a thing? Is that trade and economy? Is that something that we can actually physically manipulate and change in the game, besides earning money through quests or battling looters?
Candidate, to answer your question, according to the devs, it's on the roadmap, but it's not implemented yet.
Okay, so things like that will come. A more civilized, you know, town, a more civilized economy, and an actual military. Think of it that each and every one of us here have a responsibility. We have a citizen's responsibility, a military responsibility, and a self-responsibility. And I think of it as, if we can follow all three of those, and we can kind of lead ourselves in the right directions, and all of us are progressing together, we're going to show off, and we're going to, here's a movie reference. We won't use a movie reference. I don't like that one. A song reference. Shine bright like a diamond, right? We're going to shine bright like a diamond together. And I think that we can put all these ideas together. We can write scripts out. We should have scripts so that we already have preset, you know, like invitations, preset for certain issues. If someone were to do something or need help on something, we already have things written out to the T, to the bone, exactly what needs to be said or exactly what needs to be done. Responsibilities in regards to having actual military leaders that are taking care of military operations, having their own staff teams so that they can get things done through the week, whether they're busy or not busy. And also the senators meetings, we should have something like an emergency senators meeting with a certain amount of people having to put a reaction or something, or a poll that says, hey, we need to have one now, everybody come. Or, you know, what I'm believing what's happening is a scheduled senators meeting. And when I heard about this, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool, because I used to have senators meetings back then with my little group back then, and we had 13, 14 guys, then we get up to about 40 dudes, and we were all happy and stuff. And this is awesome. We're all here in front of each other. We're doing this. Imagine the kind of army we can assemble. Imagine the kind of trade and economy we can create with each other. Imagine the strength of the borders. Imagine what we could do if we went to war with somebody, or somebody wanted to mess with us. We get to enjoy the game and level up and play with our friends. Other people are going to be playing by themselves, little citizens running around here and there. They'll see us shine bright like a diamond. They'll be interested. But if we're bickering and at war with each other, then we're going to have holes in our system. And with those holes in our system are going to come bad things. And through there, the enemy will see us through our weaknesses. Some books to read. Go back into history books. Go back into Art of War. I'm sure some of you have looked at that. I've heard stuff about that. I read that one time because I had nothing else to do. I was on a plane. And the amount of things you can learn from that and put into a game or put into a life scenario, a life situation. It's very true. And not just Art of War, but many books. Literature is a big thing for us to learn. And reading, for me, learning about the empires, learning about Rome, learning about the history, the foundation of it, how they structured things, trying to get all that in play. A lot of you guys have that knowledge. So instead of bickering and punching each other, some people left earlier because they were all pissed or whatever, I don't know, or tea. But we got this down. Like, we all have the information we need in our heads. We can do great things. And let's make it happen. And let's handle it. And I don't know a lot about this game. I'm like what Broger was calling me. I'm a peasant, a little like scrubber on the ground. I came in here and they were giving me rags and a horse. Like, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to learn and I'm going to have fun with it. And I want to be a part of this and I want to see it grow. And I think that the other factions, they're doing their things. They're preparing things if that's how this is all set up. And I don't know entirely, but to get the clans together, to get the Senate together, to have this one leader that can bring everyone, we need a hype. We need a hype man. We don't need no emperor who's going to sit here and be blah, 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 blah. We need a hype man. We need someone who's going to bring more people around. Not his clan, not his friends, but people will see this guy and want to follow him, will be inspired by his presence. I was a leader back then. I was underneath of somebody, though. And I didn't even care about my rank. I just wanted to follow that guy. I wanted to follow him. That will come and go. You're only going to find good candidates every now and then, unfortunately. And I have to look for candidates in military positions in my clan. And I look and I scope and I make the wrong decision or I make the right decisions. We've got to make the right decisions. And we've got plenty of time to talk on future matters. So I thank you all for listening. And I appreciate everyone that's here, that's still left. I would turn my head, but I'm a little far from the PC because I had to move something for my little sister. But I hope you guys all have a great day. If you have any questions, ask me now. Send me a question later if you can't think of it now. And I hope to work together with you guys in the near future. So thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Misfit. I now open the floor to the Senate. Does anyone have any questions for the candidate?
I do.
Your name?
Jess.
Senator Jess, you have the floor.
Is your clan active on other games? And if so, how can we be sure that your focus is on the Empire, not split?
So, great question. We are focused on a few games. The cool thing is Dutch, Broger, some of my representatives here, they are focused on this game primarily. And our only other focus right now was Warband. On Xbox, we used to be a very large clan. We played with a lot of people. I mean, we created and had battles and skirmishes every day. And we were able to do things that not a lot of clans were willing and able to because they wouldn't discipline themselves. They wouldn't form something for the better. They just wanted to mess around, team kill and dossing and trolling and stuff like that. We come from a community of people that are very toxic. And I'm tired of it. I'm bored of it. So I've created my own little hierarchy on Xbox so that I can walk away and come join my men in the next battle, in the next taking.
Candidate,
So,
if I may?
Yes.
So I believe what the senator was specifically asking is, so you are a leader of this clan and it has multiple games that it focuses on. Being as you are currently running for Imperator, I think the crux of the question is, how would we be sure that you had your full attention on the Empire?
Is this not Warband?
No.
I will be here. So, my best way of putting it is Warband was 1.0 and Bannerlord is 2.0. So when Bannerlord does become multi, this and that, if it does, I'll have another 300, 400 guys waiting to merge with the rest of my PC clan. And from that day, I will be 150% focused on Bannerlord. But as of right now, my focus is to get set up on here, is to become someone on here, to have a say, to learn about the ways, to be instructed, to be taught, to make friends. So my focus is here. I have my son, Darth Vader, as a kind of like my crown for the Xbox clan as of right now. And we're going to be transferring people from Xbox onto computer so that way they can get set up on here, start to play, meet people, and start to get in their branch.
Farrell, Senator Jess, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'll take it. I
Very
do
well.
have another.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Second question. Do you have current plans to seek out diplomacy and establish relationships with the other factions in the realm?
So I have a little question for you. I'm assuming there's other Discords like this one, correct?
There are.
Yes.
Okay.
There
For
are
the other factions.
Correct.
Okay. So my best thing to say too, I want to go and meet people, kind of be friendly with everybody. I don't know, you know, where you guys have already had like the stance with people and whatnot, but my intention is to kind of establish trade with these other places, establish like a peace, a non-violent treaty if I can, or an alliance if possible. But the thing is I need to meet the other leaders. We need to discuss on the other leaders. We need to see what kind of people they are, because we don't want people that are backstabbing. We don't want people that are snaky. We want people that are going to be holding up to the same standard as us. And any ally that's going to stand amongst us should be someone that we can trust, someone who is honorable, someone who is righteous, and someone who's just got some badass warriors like us. So yes,
Okay.
to answer your question, I would be seeking relations, and good.
Gotcha.
Thank you very much, Senator. Does anyone else from the Senate have questions for the candidate?
I have a weird question. This is Proconsul Telemachus. Just came to my mind randomly.
Proconsul Telemachus, you have the floor.
Do you see your clan in any way being above all the other clans because of your membership?
I do not. I believe that we're going to be the scrubs for a while, and that's completely fine with me because everyone starts somewhere and everyone has intentions to learn and to play. I honestly, if I weren't to become Imperator or whatnot, I'm going to play just as much because this is a fucking cool ass game, dude, and this is dope as shit. And I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to be able to do as much like event-wise, and I know that I can bring a nice squad of people together because I've always been playing with the same guys.
Are you done, candidate, or did you mic cut out?
He just DC'd, but he answered my question.
Yeah, what happened is that right now he was on his phone because he had to go help his sister and all that, so I guess his phone died or something like that.
Well, he did have quite the long speech, so I hope that answers any questions. Gentlemen, I apologize for this being cut short. If you do have any further questions for the candidate, please message him privately.
May I have a quick interjection?
Something. My apologies for that. You were asking me a question. Did you hear what I said, or?
Yeah. And then you cut out, but it's fine. You pretty much gave me the gist of your answer. You're trying to remain as chill as possible, which is cool.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to have a good time. I know there's people here that are top dogs. I'll let you guys continue to do your thing because you guys know what's right. You guys know what's best. That's how it works.
So if I may, candidate, real quick, just to get us back on topic and then move us on to the next question.
Yes, sir.
There is a system currently set up. However, nothing's concrete, right? The way it's set up, no one stays top dog here forever unless they are contributing the most to the empire as a whole. And even then, there's 18 clans in here, so it'd be very hard for one person to force their will upon everyone else. So I would not worry about if your aspirations are this kind of this kind of responsibility, this kind of role, which I think I shouldn't put my personal opinions here. If it's this kind of role, then we have it set up by the rules. You should be able to have your fair shot at access to the moving and shaking of things. I'm gonna move on to. There was another question. Who was it?
Well, I just had an interjection to say something because I thought he was DC.
Do you still need to say it, or are you good?
Yeah. I was gonna say that next Sunday I plan to hold a siege event, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your gamer tag, man?
Blucher with an extra R at the end.
Gentlemen, I would ask that you get together after this. I want to finish up the questions and wrap this up. We're about coming up on 2 hours. Does anyone else from the Senate have questions for the candidate?
Not the Messiah. I've got a question.
Senator Messiah, you have the floor.
Do you see your inexperience at the game / like this kind of process that we have as a disadvantage? And if so, how would you combat it?
Well, I almost see it as an experience. I almost see it as a chance to learn. I am not like at the same exact thing as you guys. You guys are experienced. You know what's up. You know where you guys are trying to head with things. And I want to do the same thing and whatnot. But I just have to learn. I got to take my steps slowly. Right, peoples, and pretty much I don't think it puts me at too low of a disadvantage because I've kind of had some some experience in this type of stuff in my own clan, but not with each and every person may have 50, 60 men behind them and an entire group and an entire castle. This is something different. This is the next level of the game we were just playing before, Mountain Blade Warband. So I'm working on it though. Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else from the Senate have a question for the candidate?
I do. Proconsul Telemachus again.
Telemachus, you have the floor.
What are your thoughts on trial by combat?
So, I don't think that is a bad thing at all. I think a good duel between one is a good way to settle a score. What would you say?
Thank you. That's fucking amazing.
I allowed it, but
man.
that should be enough. That should be enough. Does anyone else have questions for the candidate? Very well. Does anyone from the General Assembly have questions for the candidate? Alrighty. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Misfit, and your passion.
Thank you, everybody.
With that being said, that will conclude the third Imperial debates. I thank all of you who stuck through this to the end. I know it was long. I hope everyone learned things they need to know and generally had a good time participating.